It's not easy to read 3,000 patents of Google. It's Koray effect, Koray cult.
When you have a trauma, Indian SEOs and Pakistani SEOs, I believe they are the best SEOs in the world. Hard part is changing the mindset. What was like a kind of hurricane actually. We burned like tens of millions of dollars.
There's no point of reading that book, right?
But I never praised laziness.
People are making money from Koray's framework keyword.
Yeah, it takes 8 years.
I had to stand outside.
Cracking the code again, you couldn't.
Now talking about the API leak. Koray, welcome to our show and thank you so much for your time. You're giving us a very valuable time. So Koray, first of all, I would like to congratulate on your talk. It was an amazing and phenomenal talk. And we saw that there was a German sitting next to me. He specially came for you. It was a very big deal for him. It was a different, complete new world for him. He was clicking pictures. He was doing everything in his power. And he was he was like very much like, this is something new for me. I need to do this. And then I told him about the course and he was like, I want to do it. So I've seen that there are two sets of people. I've met with many people here and they are like, few people really, abide by Koray. It's like Koray effect, Koray cult, and they are like, we are Koray, we are into the Koray cult, and they're understanding, they're getting good results. There are many case studies I've seen on Facebook. There are many people from India actually doing your course and doing really well. And there are certain other people who are actually seeing your content, and I was one of them. And then I came to know that, okay, I was like I was a little confused that is it for me or not because of the terminology. So bringing my first question here is that, do you think actually that your course is for everybody?
I believe so, yeah. It is created in 2 years with 6 different beta testers. We recreated it like 3 times.
Okay.
Actually, if you don't know SEO, you will learn it faster, I can tell, because the hard part is changing the mindset. It's not about understanding what we do. Is coming from changing the mindset first.
Like it's called it difficult to unlearn something.
Yeah, so that's the main process there. And I can tell that actually it's for everyone and anyone can understand it actually, but you should do it like at least 2 times because brain learns slowly without telling you.
Yeah.
You basically create a new thought stream, new brain reflexes in the course. It's a framework.
Okay. So you went from a PBN manager who's managing 3,000 PBNs. I just listened to your talk very carefully. And you were like managing 3,000 PBNs. And in one night in 2018, 1st August, everything went away, right? And then what was the first thought? And now what's next? What did you think?
I mean, after it happened, it was like a kind of hurricane actually. I mean, we burned like tens of millions of dollars just for cracking the code again. We couldn't.
Okay.
So then I went in the military. Other partners, they actually went to do different type of countries like Georgia and Kyrgyzstan, and they just started their construction business. I stayed in SEO when I returned.
Okay.
Then I realized that actually white hat industries, they just exploit different type of clients. Then I started to just publish case studies for helping people and creating a new community. And we came to this moment.
I've seen people talking about that what Koray does is not normal for a human being. It's very different. Someone was telling me it's not easy to read 3,000 patents of Google. It's something.
I mean, when you have a trauma, it creates extra power for you. I mean, if they would ask me, would you like to lose everything, or would you just read 5,000 papers? I would read it, even if it takes 8 years. And that's why I was able to come back. I mean, if I wouldn't read these things, I wouldn't understand where the search engine is going. I still would be actually just spitting on my finger and trying to see which direction wind is coming from. But when you read, you understand where they are going already, and you position your websites according to that.
Okay, one question. Like when there's an update coming on Google, so do you, like, what's the feeling? Do you feel that, okay, I knew about this, that this is going to happen, or it's always something surprising for you as well?
Not that much, actually. I mean, for example, for forum content is rising. It was coming from perspectives, and perspectives is actually coming from passage ranking. And they actually bind all these things together to each other. If you're able to see their announcements and new patents filings and new changes that they are doing regularly, then it will be easy for you to understand their brain or how they're actually processing.
Okay.
For example, passage ranking or indexing, it wasn't about document ranking entirely. And in the passage ranking, basically, even if there is a web document, they interpret every passage like at kinds of different ranking algorithm And that's why Reddit is ranking higher, for instance, because in one page, they have 40 authors, 40 answers. 39 answers might be really bad, but if the 40th is good enough, they rank it. In your web page, you have one answer, so they have 40. So that's why they have more shots for every page. And also they have popularity, and I explain in my speech the importance of popularity as well.
And in your speech, there were some things which really clicked me. One thing was you took an example of a book which has like 80,000, maybe 8 million words, but only 80 good sentences.
Yeah.
So there no point of reading that book, right?
Yeah.
So how do you relate that with SEO?
No, it's same for the websites too. If a search engine crawls 1 million URLs, if only 10 of them are good, it means it doesn't worth to crawl.
Correct.
I call it something like word to index ratio. If you have a non-quality page, it will be affecting the next page. And especially quality ones should be closer to your homepage so they can actually re-evaluate your website in a more positive way.
Okay. I can relate it with a very, simple example that if some person, if you tell something again and again to a person and it's not valuable, then the person would not listen to the valuable thing. Something like that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, got it. And one thing which clicked me was that one entity, one page, like one flag, one country, right? One thing which I have just learned from your speech right now is that when you were taking examples of like this, I think it was very much relatable and more understandable for the public, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I did some funny jokes too, but there wasn't time to tell a lot of them. For example,
That was very good.
yeah, I also, one of them was actually sculpt your page rank so that your links don't tank.
Yeah.
And I actually have written there, actually, I asked Eminem for a better rhyme, but he was busy with politics. So, but basically, you should always just.
No, I think that'll ease down. I've seen your past speeches. I think this thing has you have a little change here.
I try to keep it like do this, and before I do an analogy, then I connect to the pattern, but I don't read everything. I just give one point.
But I think it's working more. Like we were 5 people sitting, and think people were connecting more.
Yeah, of course.
I could see that they were laughing. The mood was very good. So I think it's very good. Okay, okay. Now I want to ask you about something about local SEO and stuff, because I am into that local SEO. I'm into programmatic local SEO as well, and I'm also into real estate and that kind of SEO. So a lot of questions on that. I will just keep it short. I know your time is very limited here. So I suppose if you want to give me an example, like let's live do it right now. Like if you want to for example, I have an HVAC site, maybe a multi-city site in California, maybe San Diego. I am servicing the different cities in California. What could be a small topical map? Like you can talk by words.
Usually for local businesses, I give the example project of rental center creates, for instance. And in my Zakopane speech from last year, I mentioned that for 4 different islands like Crete, Iceland, Sint Maarten, and one more, I don't remember the name, I use the same dynamics of the topical map, but according to source context, everything changed. For instance, for Crete, it was a car rental business, so for Crete, we changed the topical map for that. For Iceland, it was about winter tourism, that's why topical map, and it was a tour company, so topical map changed according to that.
Okay.
So Harry actually is already in our community. We worked like 2 years. He became a thought leader now. He trains other people, and we became successful with his website too. Usually, the local SEO with semantics is about creating 2 topical maps, one for your industry, one for your locality.
Yes.
And you need to connect them together.
Okay.
But in this situation, you need to just bind them together. For example, for rental center Crete, they were actually writing things about beaches or nightclubs or churches or ancient cities, but it was always about going there by renting a car. You should understand the context or concept of macro and micro context here.
Yes.
From the top of the page, we are connected to query in terms of location, but from bottom, it is about car renting. And we always flow our internal links to the rental car section or rental car create section all the time. So for your local businesses, you can always actually use this. You can cover more entities for that region. And from the bottom of the page, you can always connect it to your main topic and service all the time.
So you mean to say that what page are we working? Maybe it's a blog, maybe it's informational content about local. So the macro concept should be like maybe a major part of the page, and then the micro should be from where you want to link, and it should be in the end of the page maybe.
Some end of the page would be helpful because if you put it too high, you will lose relevance with the query.
Okay,
That's why we are trying to blend it and balance it.
and the relevancy would be basically to the query, which is maybe informative, maybe like top 10 bars in some area. So that is maybe the macro concept, and the micro would be you might need a car rental for that if you become Am I right?
You can check out Oscar Wilde. There we have like 60 stores, for instance, locations. So for all these optometry stores, we also do different type of things. But there we also have a section for eye anatomy, we have a section for glasses, eye health tests, and also eye health tests and glasses stores. They all link each other all the time for Melbourne or for Sydney or for Canada, etc.
And what about websites like for example Domino's? Domino's is everywhere and the content is almost same, but the location is changing. For websites where the content is almost saying like plumbing services would be the same, right? Or even optometric, the service would be same, but like location, like cities are changing. So what about that?
You can check Oscar Wilde for that. We have multiple cities there too, but we change the context and the content format according to the city.
Okay.
Some sections, and for these repeated sections, I try to use more structured content, like tables, because even if it is very close to each other, they can't see it like a repeated content. Because if it is structured enough, technically a table, repeating same table is not like repeating the same sentence. And we of course change, let's say, some order of the sentences, or let's say you use some conditional synonyms. If it is, let's say, 75% the same, but 25% is only focused on that area, it's better.
Okay. So you mean to say that if there's a structured content that can be similar, that's okay.
It's better.
Yeah. But if there's a city, like we can change things in cities like entities, like we talk.
You can change, let's say, directions, or you can change like the services stuff, or special images, store images will be different. And for every store, we of course open a different Google business profile that is also different. Many things.
I think this would be one of your most simplified podcast.
Maybe. I hope.
No, I had this demand from many people that we want to understand Koray more. You know, you're getting very popular in India, by the way. Every SEO is talking about
Indian SEOs and Pakistan SEOs. I believe they are the best SEOs in the world.
Wow, thank you. And you know what? Right now,
and Bangladesh too.
Yeah. You know, you might be not knowing about this, but you know, when you Google about you, like you know, there's a keyword coming up. Koray's framework keyword research, and you know people are selling that kind of keyword research on Upwork.
Not if it is helping them, I am happy for that.
People are making money from Koray's framework work keyword, and you're not there. You should be there.
I mean, I'm just trying to help them. So if it is helpful for them, I am happy for them.
But one thing is that I have seen, I wanted to mention this, I'm mentioning this again. It's a shout out to your students. I have seen a 7-hour video of your explanation of your course in YouTube. And I think one thing is that it's very good that they're giving you the credit, that I really like that they're always mentioning that this is all the case studies and all the knowledge is from Koray. That's very good. And second, I was actually able to understand a lot of things about, that was a very important thing for me to actually come to you for
Thank you.
The course, you know.
Thank you.
And I think that is a
thing. One thing that actually I only care about, because when you create all these concepts and give it to the people, sometimes they even, in Iran and also in India too, they create another course, take all of my concepts, my methods, and they just never mention it. It's not ethical at all, actually. It's the worst form of the thief.
Even I came, you know, finding, and then there are many people, you know, even agencies these days are started to talk about your framework, you know that? Like many agencies in India are now talking about that we work according to the Koray's framework, and that's a big deal, actually.
I believe so, yeah.
Even I want to do that in my agency, that, you know, I don't get left behind. Yeah. Anyways, you talked about the momentum. So what do you say about that? Is it important to maintain that kind of speed and, you know, just publish?
Because when you publish or update with a certain type of speed, Google starts to recognize your activity and they keep coming to your website with certain intervals. If you are able to increase that scroll rate for you, they will be also using expensive algorithms on your website, which means your content will process, entities will recognize, it will start to assign a relevance and quality score for you, and it will be increasing your rankings in this case.
So there's a very important question maybe no one has asked you. I really wanted to ask you from a very long time, and that's that you've been into PBNs, right? You've been into all that stuff. Maybe you still do that. I don't know. But if you've been into PBN, you might have some, you know, soft corner toward the expired domains. So what is your take on expired domains?
I have a case study for that too. Hello, welcome. I mean, in this case, for expired domains, I have published a case study for it. And in Saigon last year, I believe I explained that too. They are working for Wells, I mentioned. There are redirected expired domains too there as well, but I have different methods to redirect them.
Okay.
Or I have different methods to revive an expired domain with its old identity and authority as well.
Is that is somewhere in your course? If you want to do, is that in your course as well? You talk.
It will be coming there. I have taken like 15 lectures, but I couldn't time to edit.
Okay.
But yeah, they can also read case studies that I published in YouTube too. I explained some of them. They're really good for.
Okay. One thing I want to mention the audience about that this is one of kind of a course that it renews every year, but it's actually a good thing because it is also getting fresh every year. Like there were a few people who were thinking like that we've never seen a course which is not lifetime but renewing. We have to pay every year, but that's actually a good thing in a way because you're updating the content, you're updating your I think your course. It is
Till
becoming
now, I believe we added like extra 30 lectures.
yeah, see, very good. I think that makes a lot of sense actually. Like everybody who wants to actually join the cult actually should be doing it every year.
And also, not just the course, you get best community. I can tell definitely.
Yes. I've definitely seen that your villa. It was flogged with people. I had to stand outside. I could not even come inside. I was like standing with all the shoes. So yeah, I got late. I'm really sorry, but yes, this was a very big deal. Okay, can you explain about like just in one line what is actually topical authority?
It's actually a ranking state, and if you are able to cover a topic with the right organization for a longer duration, for a cheaper cost for the search engine, they will choose to rank you in the border of their topic, especially. And to be able to achieve that state, you will need to prove your website's efficiency with user engagements. And a little bit proper page-rank distribution also will be showing the Google crawling systems the way of contextual paths in your website. I can explain it in this a few sentences.
Okay. Now coming towards a very important thing, which is like many people or 95% of the people before your course were actually doing Hrefs, checking all that. Okay, this is my search term. These are all the keywords. Okay, these are 1,000 keywords. I maybe cover 750. What is the journey from that kind of mindset to this kind of mindset?
I mean, it is a mindset of, let's say, phrase-based. They try to replicate phrases in title tags
Yes.
and just exact match anchor tags.
Correct.
And they play with numbers, like more anchor tags, more.
Search volume and all that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need to understand that queries are actually bound to the entities, and entities are connected to each other. And they rewrite the queries based on language understanding. So they don't give the results for the query search term in the search bar. They reprocess it, change it, and create the search results for the processed query. So they need to change the mindset first, and it's the hard part. Once you change it, it's easy to understand.
And I think it's more of like a scientific mind map kind of thing. It's not very complex if you try to understand it, right?
Yeah, I suggest everyone to finish the course at least 2 times. The second time is a little easier.
Very good. Very good. And now talking about the API leak. So very honest question I want to ask that we are not there where like the way you think. I think it's phenomenal, first of all. Now, when the API leaked, were you like, okay, I knew this, or
Right.
it was shocking for you?
Not shocking.
Not shocking for you?
Not even a second.
Okay, you knew a lot of stuff already.
Yes. What they write in the patent was just in the API leak. I just wanted to prove people that you don't need to wait a leak to understand Google. Just read the patents.
Oh, okay. Now I get a lot of clarity. So the patterns are already there. Patterns are you were
Well, you see a missing piece, and it just amplifies what you know. That's why my community always says that Koray's framework was in the leak directly. I mean, they didn't learn something new. They just saw same thing with a different form.
it was evidence now.
Yeah.
Oh, very well. I mean,
When I publish it, many people, especially link building communities, despite I never say against the link building, I buy links, just give me a discount, I will buy from you too. I'm not against it. You saw on the stage. You mentioned PageRank more than semantics, for instance. But basically, when you see the leak, it is also mentioning topic scores or site radius, embeddings, natural language understanding, that it becomes more clear.
very well, very well. And we recorded our mastermind. It's going to come. You have to compromise a little bit with the background noise, but it is a huge value. I'm not repeating those questions because they're already covered and he has a very limited time today. So I'm just wrapping it up. But I'm very sure that we will do future podcasts together. If you like that I'm a good student, obviously you promised me that you will do it.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I'm going to be a good student. I'm promising this on camera. Okay, moving on. Any advice for young SEOs?
I believe there are many actually, but they're not about SEO tricks or whatever. Just first of all, do not change your mood according to the stupid graph. Even if you do everything right, until there is a core update, you can keep losing rankings. And sometimes core updates don't focus on your industry, your region, or your language. It means you need to wait the next one. You are not doing something bad. Just the search engine doesn't have enough budget or time to process your website sometimes. That's why I have shown a bunch of methods to take the attention of the search engine to your site first. Secondly, always accept that, even if you're in this industry for a half century, accept that you know nothing and you are nothing. Just you can be wasted in one day. You can lose 3,000 websites in one day. Always stay as a student and always stay humble. Always keep learning and respect everyone. You never know what you will learn from who. And the third one will be always believe in working hard. I mean, many SEOs say that I work just 2 hours a week. I'm happy with my life, but I never praise laziness. Be a hardworking person, and it's very much more important than also intelligence. If you work hard, you will definitely be successful eventually.
I want to say something about this. We were at Koray's villa at that a few days ago. I was I was lucky enough to be at their villa with them, and we were leaving for a party, and Koray said, "I'm not coming. I have to work." It was a party for the event. We are at the conference. It was a conference party. Everybody was going. He was not going. He wanted to work. He said, "I like this. I want to relax and work." He was just opening his laptop and his work. And I posted that on Facebook, but you can see. So that's I think that's inside. You want to work. You it makes you feel happy.
I mean, I believe stoicism as a philosophy, and you should always be humble and you should always be prepared. And working is a kind of praying for me, and I love working.
Very well.
And in many religions, in many philosophies too, and even founder of my country, Kemal Atatürk, he also says always work. So yes, I believe in that.
Yes. Even in our religion, it is said that work is everything. Work is fortune, basically.
Yeah.
Yes. And yes, moving on. Now a rapid fire. Just 2 minutes of rapid fire questions. Okay. What's one SEO experiment that completely surprised you?
It was an experiment. The one that I mentioned, DDoS attacks, attacking my own website to increase rankings. It was weird, but it worked.
I was surprised when I was amazing. Okay. If you had to choose between data science or semantic search for SEO success, which one it would be and why?
Oh. I mean, I love science, but at the end of the day, my purpose is turning clicks into money. I need to stay in the search as much as possible.
Very well, very well. That's an honest answer, I would say. What's the most unconventional SEO strategy that you used and actually worked?
Unconventional.
Yes.
There are many actually. I mean, one of them was that rain joke in the presentation wasn't actually a joke. We realized that according to the weather, local rankings were changing. Then we actually marked our business with the comments and with some markup according to the weather situation. If it is sunny, we were a sunny place for sunny weather. If it is raining, we were a place for raining weather. So this way, even if the weather changes, we were always ranking. So it wasn't a joke actually, because they changed local rankings according to weather.
Even I have seen that. I'm going to. Okay, I'll tell you that there is a thing that in our websites, in my local websites, we put weather information. And this was told to me by some local SEO guy, and when we implemented it, it actually increased our ranking. Yeah, we were giving.
Also, lying search engine, for example, if it is out of stock, I don't sell it to search engine because I know it will be dropping the rankings. I always say there is stock there, but if the user clicks, I just say, let me know when it comes. Then I do it when they click, not in the source code, so Google doesn't recognize it.
From here, I have a follow-up question. In your presentation, you talked about one click that Google doesn't index that one click thing you were talking about in your presentation.
On-click events.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
On-click events. So it's for hiding links from Google, for page rank sculpting. It's a JavaScript event. I'm sure the audience is.
So is it related to what you were just saying about
Slightly, because for buttons, for buy button too, you can use on-click events.
Yeah, right? It works, right? That's all. Okay. So mine is a little bit working. Very good. Which Google update do you think caused the biggest industry shakeup?
I will have a content update plus Panda from the past. And we shouldn't forget past. I always say it. SEOs usually, maybe because of the character of the industry, but they always think that everything is new. No, it's just repeating. I said in the presentation again. Brand push from 2009.
Yeah.
We are 2025 nearly and still it's happening. So it's just repeating. I believe Panda, Penguin, SCU, Phantom updates around 2015, 2017, then core updates, BERT, They're all fundamental, really important updates, and they're exciting and beautiful in my mind. So when you examine it from scientific purpose, it happens like that. One time in Turkey, there was an earthquake, and there was a geolog. And geolog said that it's a very handsome earthquake, and community lynched him. But geolog sees earthquake as a science, so he loves examining it. So same for me when it comes to core updates or HCU. I see it from scientific point of view. That's why it excites me, even if it demolishes some websites.
I think that's that's the best thing I've heard in this conference till now. Very well said. Actually, very well said. Taking it positively and actually getting excited about it.
Yeah.
Very well. Very well. What's a data-driven insight you uncovered many people are still unaware of?
I believe I started my presentation from fake traffic from PBN days. We were using pop-ads.
Yes.
I suggest you to explore virality. Try maybe some social links. I can't say everything here for that. It's blacked, but
Okay.
just from data point of view, you should understand that you can actually communicate with Google to manipulate their crawling and prioritization services by creating some fake search demand, by changing auto completions. If you even understand what type of amount of search you need or what type of autocomplete changes. I believe people don't know these things or they don't pay attention at all.
This was something of a discussion in private meetups in this conference, and we were actually surprised to.
No, we should be able to talk this about actually in public too, but it's also hard to explain then. That's why I said Google Triangle. Maybe you can explain it later to your audience, but we need to break it.
I was lucky enough to connect to a community who are actually testing this out, and I think we'll put the results out very soon, and I'll discuss that with you obviously. What's the most challenging aspect of teaching others about entity-based SEO?
So the hardest thing there is explaining the difference between a keyword and entity. Because usually they try to rank for the keyword, but they are not trying to be related to the entity. Because for entity-oriented search, even if some phrase doesn't appear in the keywords, you still need to process it.
Yes.
That's why at the beginning we conceptualize like zero search volume keywords. People think that if there is no search demand, why shall I put it into the website? Because they still think with the old way. And for even Matt tested it, it worked. Then it brought to the industry from my framework directly, for instance. But it's about actually concepts and attributes and their relations. For example, if you search for symptoms of cancer, you don't know what are the symptoms. That's why you search for it. So you can't expect individual symptoms to be appearing in the queries. The searcher doesn't know it, but still this is related based on concepts and entities.
What's one habit you adopted that's been a game changer for your productivity?
Cat. Having a cat.
It's more of a Mads question. He's just listening. Mads, for me, it's a productivity question I'm asking him. Can you come in the frame and say hello?
Good morning. All good?
For me, it was having a cat. I mean, when I smell the cat, all the stress goes away and you can again work from zero.
Wow, is that
Yeah.
true? I think you love your cat. You mentioned that in this talk as well.
I really miss them.
Wow, God bless. Very good. If you had to describe SEO in 2030 in one word, what would that be?
Okay, so in 2022, I say that NLU, NLG, NLP, which means natural language understanding, natural language generation, language natural processing. These three will be more fundamental, and one person with certain type of automations, and especially by orchestrating agents, by connecting every agent to each other, basically, they will be able to create way much bigger results. So you will see a more centralized search competition. I can tell that are the loss of automation with smart servers. Imagine that your page just loses like the rankings, and API just checks the current ranking and also current queries, current autocompletes. It automatically does some changes based on your rules. Rank again. If it doesn't rank, it does the change again. And it amplifies your rankings further and further. Always it is about this type of amplification. So it will be
Supervisation and
it will be,
okay.
I mean, you will be able to turn your neurons into the ranking reflexes for maybe millions of websites.
Okay.
Maybe not 30, but maybe 36, 37, it will happen.
Okay.
One more thing is maybe not 30, but I guess 35 or 36. If the politicians can handle it, you will be able, I believe people will be able to search from their brains directly. Probably our click mindset and monetization methods will be changing as well.
Okay. This is very much.
It's all within the patents, I can tell. They are preparing it.
Wow. 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 This is mind boggling actually.
From MIT, it happened already. There are some tools you can connect internet and make search, but I believe it will be way faster because once people start to use these chips for being connected to the internet all the time,
That would be for communication as well, right?
it's true, but also it's dangerous. People can hack each other's brains. They can suddenly play with your dreams. Government can directly tell you that you should vote yes for this. I mean, there are many dangers there, but I believe from business point of view, once group of people do it, rest will need to do because competition will be in that direction. It's also a dangerous, very dangerous thing.
And I think it's eventually going to happen. AI is there.
In my opinion, it's inevitable. I just don't know how corrupt people will use it in the future.
Correct, correct. Now let's take a follow-up question to this. AI is a thing right now. What do you think about AI in SEO?
I believe it is not just SEO, but I believe it is big as much as invention of fire, wheel, or alphabets, or industrial revolution. I believe AI is a revolution too. I believe it started a new age because when you are able to give human physical power to machines, you started industrial revolution. When you're able to give your brain power to a machine, you started another age. Currently, and I believe 2 centuries later, people will look at these ages like dark ages, and many things will be automated in a really advanced way. So in SEO too, it is inevitable. I mean, you will not use AI like every day. It will be like your brain extension. Every day you will be using it.
And obviously that means your answer means that we're going to embrace it in
You have to. Everything. It's already happened. I mean,
but it should make sense.
in the UK, for instance, when the industrial revolution happened, some farmers, they were against using machines for farming.
Yeah.
Now they are using it. I mean, you can keep complaining about AI, but it won't stop.
I always take an example of paradigm shift, and this is how I think I would end the podcast. That there's an example that of ice. Ice used to be made on mountains, and then when they would and the truckers used to break ice and bring it to the people, and then factories of ice came, and then truckers were like that. How can ice be produced in a factory? But those truckers went out of the business, and the factories made the ice, and then the refrigerator came, and the factories were like, how can ice be made in someone's house, and the factories went out of business. That's the paradigm shift one needs to accept, right?
Yep.
I think that's what you're trying to say here, right? Okay, last question of the podcast, and that's, what's the most satisfying part of working in a constantly evolving world of SEO?
For me, my community, because when I see my people around me, they're becoming friends. I mean, many people found new jobs. Many people saved their families. One of my happiest moment was a guy from Bangladesh. He has sent me a video. He's told that in the video, it was my birthday. He was celebrating it. He said that he was able to help his family
Wow.
thanks to that, and it was really great.
I'm getting goosebumps when I'm listening to this. Very good. Any upcoming projects you want to pursue or talk about?
In 2025, I'll be resting mostly and building my assets most of the time. There are 2 concepts, one slow, one fast money. So I will be focused on slow money by creating assets. And I will give my stages or stage right to my community top leaders by staying behind. I would like to promote them more than I am.
Very good. Very good. Final words of wisdom for the audience?
There are many, but I can just say that stay humble, keep learning, and keep working. And always say thanks to God. That's it.
Very good. And thank you for the podcast. Thank you for this time. And I'm very happy that and in the end I saw that you had a little emotions in your. I can always feel that, and I think it's make a lot. It shows everything about you. You're so much for the community, and I can see the emotional side of you. And thank you so much for this. Thank you so much. It really means a lot, and truly means a lot. Thank you. Thank you for us.